All right, what is going on, Ravens flock? And we are back here again, Ravens Way podcast, episode number 19, and we have a new face, somewhat familiar face to our content, Garnett West. Garnett, how we doing? How we feeling?
Man, I can't complain, man. Just another day in another life of a man that's just enjoying just the regular weeks, Monday through Fridays, and hopefully a better one on the weekends when the football starts in the Sundays on this thing called YouTube TV that I still have not purchased.
Boss?
Hey, good. Thank you for joining us, G. Always a pleasure. The terrific trio, the tremendous trio. Um, I think we're all pretty hyped up for this season. I think we all had some hits on roster cutdowns and couple long shots came through for us. So I think that puts the team in the best position entering the regular season.
Definitely feeling good about the roster. Kind of getting into it just a tiny bit. Malik Cam was a surprise. I just got to give Garnett his credit, someone that he called, and
Oh, hey, to give Voss some credit too, goddamn it, he was up there he called his shot too.
I'm just saying I didn't see anybody else that had Mollett over Kelly in a published projected roster. I think I might be the only one I saw that had that.
2 for 2. Look at him. Beat down, putting the beat down, ain't it?
Hey, anyway, yeah, just to get into it a little bit, the 53-man cut downs of everything that happened over the past, I would say, 7 days. General thoughts here, fellas. I would say that 2 undrafted free agents seems maybe one more than they usually go, and they were both also put on IR today. So, give and take a little bit, but overall, I feel good about it. I feel like that's their efficiency as a team, is how they can identify undrafted free agents and talent pool. So, fellas, thoughts about the 2 UDFAs before we?
Yeah. So, just on the topic of the UDFAs, there used to be, or maybe there is some advantage to keeping a drafted player versus a UDFA player, because the drafted player has a 4-year contract, the UDFA player has a 3-year contract before they hit restricted free agency. But with the proven performance escalator clause, that the one that just bumped up Devin Duvernay's salary by about $2 or $3 million, maybe more than that, I think about $3 million. The advantage isn't really that great. So it doesn't matter if they're drafted. I guess the moral of the story, what I'm trying to say, is it doesn't matter if they're drafted or if they're UDFA. If they're a good player and they're a rookie, keep the best ones. So, I like that they kept those guys. I like that they replaced them with Seymour in particular. I think he might be handy in the first couple of weeks of the season. The other big, battles were Ben Cleveland beat out Sam Mustipher, and Pat Ricard beat out Vokalek. Other than that, I mean, that was really what we were looking for. I guess it's a little surprising they have 3 quarterbacks on the roster right now at this moment, but I guess Huntley's going to be inactive until he's healthy.
Garnett?
Yeah, with that being said, Voss, I'm glad you hit on those points when it comes to just the Ravens. Hell of an article that you wrote on when it came to just the roster construction. By the way, I'm glad that the Ravens finally, they went out of their realm when it comes to valuing contract control versus, best man wins, basically. And obviously we can say Malik Cam was the best man that in the edge department, fighting for a spot. And the same thing with Caillou Blue Kelly. No disrespect. I hope the young man has a successful career in Seattle or wherever the hell he lands after, if he stays there, hopefully, whatever. But not to sound very condescending how I said that when I think about it. But there's a reason why, right? But it's for me, when it comes to the secondary, it's just, we've been preaching about it for quite some time about just having the right people play there. And veterans, Darby, obviously, I think we all wanted MP to stay. We understood the situation. But it just, hopefully Darby is recovered from the ACL. But I'm completely fine with where we at. I feel like we can be better, and all time will tell. But yeah, man, I'm comfortable somewhat with the secondary, but the offensive line, man, it shows very versatility of everything. When it comes to Macari being able to play, from basically left tackle to guard or whatever, even center need to be, and then you have also with Cleveland that nobody other than the arm Nazi himself, Ken McCusick, knew that just gave him a shot to play in tackle. There's no way. He's too stiff, and I'll be damned. You proved us all wrong. But yeah, so I never felt the last time I felt this comfortable about the offensive line was probably since the Super Bowl run with McKinney, Brian McKinney, Berg, Osemele, just I never felt this comfortable, man. So kudos to the Ravens for making the right moves this offseason when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I was really curious about was how do they value the center only in Mustipher versus guard tackle in Cleveland? And I think they made the right decision. I think, Cleveland has, despite all the disdain I have for him as a football player, I do think that he did earn out that last spot there. And, the guard tackle versatility did come through in a sense. And, overall, I don't think there's anything that was really too surprising. I felt like we all knew that Caillou Blue Kelly was going to get cut. We all said that it was the right idea, the right decision, the way this team was constructed because of the injuries they have at corner. I don't think keeping a maybe cornerback 2 years down the line type player was worth over a Seymour, who you already know is kind of a cornerback 3 type player on this roster, or a Worley or whoever. But overall, I don't have any complaints. And I feel like this. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go with this 53 man.
I feel good about this 53. I think this is the best 53 since 2012 from top to bottom. Kelly, I think they gave themselves away putting him in so late in the first preseason game. But, you could see he was low on the pecking order. And then when he got his chance second game, he got toasted when he was playing against the starters. And, you're going to be playing against starters if you're put into the game action. So I think the moral of the story is don't take cornerbacks with athletic limitations on day 3. If you're going to swing on a day 3 cornerback might be the one position the Ravens have never, ever missed in franchise history on a first-round corner. And I think they've only missed on Deron Jenkins in their first draft or second draft in the second round. But, round 4, round 5, round 6, round 7 corners are few and far between. And if you're going to make a swing high. But circling back to Malik Ham, I really think he has a lot of long-term potential to be a outside linebacker 3, maybe outside linebacker 2, towards the later stages of his rookie term. And Cole Jackson put out a cut-up where it showcased, a variety of different pass rushing moves. And those are the kind of guys you want. Kelly, you could keep around for 3 or 4 years, but he doesn't necessarily have a ceiling to develop into something. It would almost be like the James Prochet all over again, where you're keeping a guy around because you have him under team control, but he's never going to be more than a back end of the roster guy. So looking ahead, the Ravens need cap space. They need cap space right now, to be honest. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but these are the kind of players that you need to find a Keaton Mitchell, a Malik Ham, an Ardarius Washington, UDFA guys where you can keep them around and they can build up the back end of your roster with some guys that can crack the 2 deep, that can be difference makers while you have high-priced players, littered across the roster. They're pretty tight against the cap next year already, and they got a ton of UFAs, unrestricted free agents, and they need cap space right now. Before we move on to the next segment, circle back because I want to ask you guys a question about how they should create cap space right now.
Hey, just funny thing, Vaz, before we move straight into that. What's funny? I have the 2008 divisional game between Tennessee and the Ravens playing in the background. And number 31 corner, you remember that guy, right? Fabian Washington, right?
Out of Nebraska.
Yep. Yes, sir. And the thing about what made him longevity in this league, what made him have that longevity is the fact that he ran 4.2 something. Just ridiculous speed. You can't teach over 6 foot, 4.2. You can get away with that. When you're Kelly, 6'1", you have the height. Yeah, you got the size physically, but you
Darby's another 4'2" guy.
4.38 guy. I looked it up. I got bored. I was like, let me see where he ran. Okay, obviously, yeah, ACL recovery. Okay, in his career, he probably ran like a 4.5 maybe, or maybe somewhere around there. Feel good. He might crack a 4.49 maybe. But the fact that literally, when it comes to guys like I was about to call him today. We used to call him in the group chat, but when it comes to Caillou Blue Kelly, man, it's just like it's a finished product. Like it's just physically, we know what he's going to be. Now you're relying on him to become a very instinctive type of player where it's okay, you gotta hit the film. Like there's no athletic edge that you're gonna have against your opponent. So that's why I think all of us, I can speak for all of us, but that's why we were like, so hey, go get a Raz corner and see what you can do compared to a guy that's just, based off of average athletics. So I'm right there, man.
Yeah, the high IQ, high character, 5-year starter out of college. I feel like that's kind of been their downfall. Like everyone talks about them missing on late corners. Well, it's not really missing. It's the people they're targeting. It's really been like these low ceiling, high floor guys, and the high floor guys don't even stick around because they can't break these guys that are like Seymour, who are already like at their ceiling 4 years down the road.
They're already developed. They're already developed to the maximum potential. There's nothing left to develop. You're keeping a guy around to develop, but he's already maxed out.
And I can honestly say, Yuri, that I did not know Kayvon Seymour was like. I forgot. I didn't know he stayed in this league this long. But guess what? He ran a 4.3 something. So it's just I think it's just a connecting thing with how a lot of people don't really view it. Like how we do. We try to be more in depth of the situation. Okay, most guys that stay in the league for over 7 or 8 years are athletes, like legitimate athletes. That's my whole
at that position in particular. That's the one position where athleticism means more than you can get away with being a 4.5 safety or whatever. RAS doesn't matter at any other position more than it does at cornerback, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And the last thing I'll say on Kelly is I know he has that time traveling video game he was making, and maybe he can go back in time and make himself 2 inches taller and run a 0.10 second faster 40.
It's gonna have to go back to a long way at the point of conception.
So you mean to tell me he just basically got going? You're telling him to go on Madden and create himself faster? What you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so let me ask you guys this question. So according to over the cap, the Ravens are 1.8 million over the cap. I think something like that. Not a ton, but they need to make some room right now as the rule of 51 goes away and all these maneuvers and all these little maneuvers that the Ravens make and they're activating guys. That all adds up. They cost money. Brian McFarland, the cap guru, he estimates $8 million for in season between guys going into reserve, practice squad elevations, et cetera, et cetera. They have 4 big. This is also according to Brian. They have 4 big levers to pull. They can restructure Ronnie Stanley for 7.5 and take back $7.5 million put towards this year's cap. Marlowe 7.2, Lamar 5.1, or Andrews 4.4. How would you guys rank those as far as you're balancing? We don't want to get stuck with too much money at the end of this guy's deal if he's injury prone. So how would you guys rank those 4?
I would go Marlon Humphrey number 1. I feel like the injury is just a little bit of a fluke in my opinion, and he'll probably be here towards the end of that contract. So I'm not worried about it. And they'll probably extend him soon. I would expect Marlon to be here for a while. I would go Mark Andrews number 2. Just probably another guy that gets extended again unless they like their tight ends a little bit more. And then 3, I would go Lamar, and then 4, I'd go Ronnie. I feel like there's like this weird energy around Ronnie and how the team feels about him because of the injury that happened. So that would be my order.
Very similar to yours, but I will probably flip it due to the nature of when it comes to Mark Andrews and having Likely and Kolar. And I really this year is going to be very telling of how, what happens, the production of Mark Andrews. I really think he's going to be like a 850 but double digits touchdown type of guy, in my opinion. But I feel like that's how it's literally just that swap between Mark Andrews, because I just feel like him and having the talent that we have behind it. And I feel like when it comes to Ronnie Stanley, though, I think he almost feel like he owes the team in a weird way. Like, in my opinion, it's the situation that he went through personally, and I'm not gonna like disrespect the dude because it's your body, you know your body better than everybody else. But the fact that the Ravens were like, okay, we're gonna like we messed up, but we're gonna let you handle it on your own terms. And I feel like we've seen that with Tavon Young. When those multiple injuries he had, he spoke highly on the front office on the back end. So yeah, other than that, I'm somewhat agree with you guys, especially you, Yuri. Just a flip flop. That's all.
Yeah, I'm pretty much there too. Mark Andrews currently dealing with some mysterious injury that Harbaugh has not said the nature of or given. I guess he said he thinks he'll be back for week 1. That's a little concerning. I mean, pretty much all these guys at this point, I'd probably put Lamar first, even though he just got paid. Wouldn't be the first time. Grab that $5 million, give him another $5 million bonus check up front, spread it out over the next 4 years. But I agree with you guys on Ronnie. It is concerning to me that he did not participate in a single padded practice throughout this entire training camp. That's not a guy that I want to put another $7 million on future caps with an already tight situation. I'm not to speak out of turn, but it was a very serious injury. It could have been a career ender. It was kind of teetering on the brink there for a while. You used to call him, what was your nickname? Street Clothes Ronnie? That's what it was called.
Street Clothes Stanley.
Street Clothes Stanley. We'll just call him No Pads Ronnie now. But yeah, that's where I'm at. That's all I really had. I think I did author that article that you brought up earlier. The Ravens have finally embraced the win now era. And, between the void years and overpaying for Beckham, it was an overpay, and cutting KPK and adding Clowney and Darby when it was time instead of saying we're going to rely on the young guys. DaCosta has realized that the way they used to do business doesn't necessarily work when other teams they're playing with 60 cards in the deck. You can't play with only 52. You got to come up a little bit. So that's all I really had to say about the roster construction. I feel really good about this team, as we'll talk about in our later segments.
Right. Hey, got to pay to play in this era of football, man. Especially when you're a competitive team and you're stuck in the middle, you got to do something, or you're not going to be stagnant.
Definitely agree with that. All right. Do we want to hop into our future divisional bets here?
Let's do it.
All right. I think we'll go around the horn here. The division. Obviously, a lot of turnovers happen in the division. A lot of teams have lost some players, gained some players, and we've had some time to digest and see all the injuries that happened through training camp and such. Voss, we'll go ahead and start with you, Voss. What do you have any major predictions here for the division? Maybe go 1 through 4. Up to you.
Yeah. So I have the Ravens winning the division. I like the look in the eye. I like their look in the eye. Sometimes you just kind of get a read on them, and they seem like they have the a competitive spirit combined with a chip on the shoulder, combined with having fun at the same time. And I'm a little skeptical about Cincy. They lost some pieces. So I do have Cincy second, Cleveland third. Cleveland, I just don't they have probably a better roster than Cincy, I would say, on paper. But we still need to see it from Watson. And then Pittsburgh is fourth. I think it's going to be a tight division. I think Pittsburgh is going to be a pretty decent, solid team. So, Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers in that order. And then if we're doing, who's going to make the playoffs, I had the Bengals grabbing a wild card bid.
Yeah, for me, I got obviously. I really think that we got it as number one. For me, it's gonna be a little weird. I actually got Cleveland, outpacing the Bengals down the stretch. Only reason why I say that is just the fact that I think it goes unspoken of what their offense is going to probably potentially be, especially with Elijah Moore. And obviously you got Cooper and Njoku. I just feel like it's going to be more well balanced on that part, on that scale. And obviously Chubb is going to be Chubb regardless. And I think if you go rewatch the game where we played Watson, and you can somewhat see it where it just I know people say he had a horrible season. I get it. He's coming back 2 years of football. We get it. But the thing about it, you saw the game slow down when they beat us, when he played. And the fact that you just started to see those moments where, okay, this is Watson coming back. The pre-massage Watson, I should say, right? But for me, I really think the Browns are probably going to be like my dark horse, where I think you just can't really sit on them. Their defense is going to be good. I feel that their defense is going to be good. Third would probably be Cincinnati, and then the Steelers. Offensive line, I just don't know what the hell they're doing with the offensive line. That's really just my whole draw point with them. I think their defense is always going to be, top notch. They're always going to win games. Tomlin's going to do Tomlin things, so on and so forth. But yeah, that's my order.
Yeah, mine's pretty similar. I would go with record wise. I think I would give from bottom up. I'd get Steelers 8-1 again. No losing record for Tomlin, but no winning record either. I'll go with Cincy 9-8. Third in the division for me. I have questions about whether their secondary and offensive line can keep up with how well the other two in front of them have improved in those spots. And then my second team would be Cleveland at 10-7, and then my first team would be the Ravens at 12-5, getting the 3 seed. I think that's the two I guess would be the Ravens at 12-5, and the Browns probably somewhere around the 5 or 6. But I feel like this is the best Ravens roster since 2012, like Voss said. And the process is right, and I feel good that the results will hopefully follow.
Yeah, I don't think the loss of Jesse Bates can be understated for the Bengals. Let's go on to the East, if that works for you guys, and I'll kick it off again. I'm taking a long shot here, but I think I have some good reasons for it, and I'm going with Miami to win the division there. I know Ramsey is out, DBU, along with Darby and probably all the other good defensive backs in the league, but I think they still have some good personnel across the roster. Their offensive line is a little bit of a question mark. I am pretty bullish on Tua. I like McDaniel and I like Fangio. I think they really do have a chance. Buffalo, good front seven, questionable O-line, questionable receiving core. So I have them in second. I think the Giants are going to suffer. The Jets are going to place third because of their shoddy offensive line. And the Patriots fourth, although Matt Judon probably have a pretty strong case for Defensive Player of the Year.
Go ahead. So for me, just number one, just one of the main reasons I'm going to choose is just this mad depth. Someone reminds me of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady, and just had just the lure of talent everywhere when you think about it. Obviously, they got hot down the stretch, but just their pass rush depth is like insane to me when you really think about when you have Johnson coming off the bench, which is
what school did he go to?
Oh my God! Well, he went to Georgia. Technically, he went to Georgia. He had 1 year. He had a cup of tea in Florida State. Come on, FS poo, as I call it. But anyway, so I got the Jets due to just mad depth, and obviously my favorite quarterback. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm on a Ravens podcast. I'll say my favorite quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. Yep, I saw that. But anyway, so two, I'll probably go with Miami. Boss had a very good description of just. I feel like they're gonna get healthy. Hopefully, they get healthy at the right time and good for a good push. Bills, I just don't. Something about the Bills, I just don't trust. Like they'll come out the gate for 7 games in the first 7 games. They come out like blazing, right? And then they'll have these like kinks in the armors, I should say. And then they'll just the wheels. It's crazy. The wheels will come off the wagon for them, basically, so they can't circle around them. All right. And then obviously New England, I don't trust Mac Jones. I don't like the fact that they literally had him as the only quarterback on the roster at one point, which is insane to me. It just everything about them is just off. I don't know. But we know the defense is going to play hard. We know that part. But I just don't trust it. You got to hear it.
Yeah, I would go Miami 1. I'm with Voss. I feel like they're faster, they're bigger, they're more explosive than everybody on both sides of the ball. And hopefully Rams will get healthy down the stretch and carry them through January. But 2, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Jets. I'm with Garnett. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to fade off some of those offensive line concerns and getting the ball out quick and be able to process quick, which is something he's really known for. And they're going to have to be able to run the ball, and they have 2 good running backs, which I think is something that Aaron Rodgers does pretty well with when he had Dillon and Aaron Jones in Green Bay. And he has Garrett Wilson as well, which is, maybe not Devontae Adams, but I think he's definitely a 1,210 type guy. And then 3, I would go Buffalo. I'm with you guys. I'm not really bullish on Buffalo. I feel like they always, I just feel like the roster's really been overrated these past couple of years, and I feel like it's been carried a lot by Allen, and now the talent's kind of caught up to him a little bit in that division. And then for New England, my guy Tyquan Thornton got put on IR today. That was probably their only receiver that could separate as a vertical threat. And you got Kendrick Bourne and Juju Smith-Schuster, and you got
Parker
Booty as well. So I just feel like they're the dumps.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, both these divisions, the AFC North and East, are probably the two strongest, or maybe the NFC East gets in there. All 8 of these teams could probably win the next division. I'm going to bring up, to be honest. But I think Buffalo, just to put a button on it, it seems like they peaked. It seems like they're on the way down. So AFC South, and I'm going chalk here. Jacksonville won the division last year. Tennessee is a solid team with a high floor and a low ceiling, reminiscent of the 2010 through 2017 John Harbaugh Ravens. Indianapolis, and then Houston. I thought about flipping Houston and Indy, but I ended up sticking with Indy. I'm going chalk.
All right, so for me, I'm gonna go just Jacksonville. I just think I believe they can continue to ride the high, in my opinion. 2, I had a hard time between, to be honest with you, with the Colts and with Tennessee. It's literally a toss-up, in my opinion, between them two. Like I feel how I look at it is the fact that their defense on the Colts is still good. It's not like throwaway bad. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it's like when we had Lamar in his rookie year and was unexpected. I feel like Anthony Richardson is in that same situation where you just don't know what the hell you're going to get. But I think the key factor, which makes me put the Colts at 3, is we all know the situation with the running back. Like that really ties in everything to me. So with that being said, I'll probably go just Jags 1, I say Tennessee 2, because we know what we're going to get with Derrick Henry and then with basically a good defense that they're gonna probably produce with Simmons and Bird and all those guys over there. And then like I said, Jags 1, Tennessee 2. God damn, I'm just blanking out right. That's crazy. Fourth, I'm gonna go with the Houston, because the reason why I say that is just something about them, like nothing. I get it, they got a quarterback, but like receivers though, like I hate small receivers. And when you exactly, the ceiling is quite low for a reason in there, and it just Tank Dell, Bobby Trees, he's cool. Like he would have been cool like 3 years ago there, but like it's just right. It's just everything about them. I just don't see nothing that really puts them over the top. I feel like there's that team that's there to not allow you to make the playoffs type of team. Like they'll give you a run for the money type of ordeal with the Texans. But that's why I say that.
Yeah, I would.
What you got, Yuri?
Well, I got the Colts as number one. I think the Jags overperformed last year. They overperformed their position, and QB whisperer. But I think those whispers are falling on deaf ears this season. So I think that once again, I think the Jags really did overperform. I think they just signed a whole bunch of big free agents, and I think that's going to come back to bite them this year. But Colts number one. I think, like Garnett said, you don't know what you're going to get with Anthony Richardson, but I'm going to lean on the side of you're going to get something pretty good, and that would be enough to win the division. And then Jags, good.
Now, with that being said, so you're thinking Jonathan Taylor's going to play this year?
No, I don't care. Your running back's Anthony Richardson. He's going to be your running back, your quarterback, just like Lamar was in 2018, and whoever's next to him is going to be running because all the defensive ends are just waiting for Anthony Richardson to hold the ball or pull it or give it. It's going to be just like that, and it's going to be great. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be a good day.
You got some juice to testicles over there, buddy. Huge testicles over there, man.
Just like Gus Edwards and what's his name, Buck Allen, and all those guys.
Alex Collins, yeah.
Like most of the defensive ends were being held because of Lamar's threat to run the football. Wow. So I'm ready to go with it again, and if I'm wrong, so be it. But I'm ready to trust my intuition. And then Jags number 2, Titans number 3, Texans number 4.
Rest in peace, Alex Collins, by the way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, rest in peace, definitely.
Rest in power. I just think Calvin Ridley is going to be a difference maker. But let's go on to the West and AFC Dynasty, 5 times in a row, AFC Conference Championship host, I believe. I think all 5 have been at home. I could be wrong on that. But, I'm going KC 1, Chargers 2, Denver 3, Raiders 4. Raiders are not going to be a pretty good team this year, I don't think. I'll take the Chargers as a wild card, but that's also pretty chalky.
Yeah, for me, I don't even think we need to even have a discussion because I think we're going to be the dead horse. I'm not even talking about the Broncos, but I'm just saying, like, we know KC is the guys. We know Chargers going to do their thing. They're going to, it's like with the Chargers, it's so weird to me. Like, all this, J.C. Jackson, hopefully he comes back fully healthy and, full powered up and, ready to really ball out. But, like, what weakness do you see on the Chargers? I know we'll get you, Yuri, so you can give your pick, but like I just want you guys to answer on that one. What weakness do y'all see on that roster? That's what mine's bothering to me.
I would say rangy safety. I don't think they have one of those. Derwin James is more of like an alley runner. Maybe running back.
What about Adderley? Isn't he the?
He retired. He retired out of nowhere. Yeah.
I don't think they have a running back that could chew the clock. They have Eckler, who's a great fantasy guy, but I don't think he's like a get 5 yards a clip. They have Larry Roundtree, and
they got the boy from Texas A&M, big dude, stupid strong dude. I cannot think of his name in the world. Everybody loved him. Like he's genetically, huh? No, last draft.
Spiller. Isaiah Spiller.
Yeah, Spiller. Oh, yeah, there you
go.
Yeah. Maybe right tackle. Right tackle. There's another one. That would be another hole. But anyway, I'm gonna be contrarian, and I'm gonna go Chargers 1, and Chiefs 2, Broncos 3, Raiders 4. I just think it's their year, and Quentin Johnson he's gonna take them over the top, and I'm ready to ride the tsunami. I really am.
I like how I asked, "What hole do you see?" And you basically said stuff, and then literally flipped it. I'm still gonna roll. That's crazy, crazy work over there.
I think they're a good team. It's just they don't. I don't think they quite have enough quality on defense, but we'll see. They do have a pretty good defensive back, whose father was an All-Pro, who also went to DBU, so that might help them out. But let's flip it over to the NFC. NFC's kind of wide open in a way. I think the East is clearly the best division. And I'll go chalk here. Well, I guess it's probably not chalk. Philadelphia first, Dallas second. And I think it's going to be a very close race. And I think those two are clearly the two best teams in the conference. And then I'm going to go Washington third and the Giants fourth. I think the Giants were a little bit of smoke and mirrors last year. I know there's some hype around the Daboll, Daniel Jones connection. I just don't like their build. I don't like their roster build. They got 17 slot receivers and not a whole lot of playmakers on defense. So I'm fading the Giants this year.
For me, man, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to guys that are playing NFL, because obviously they did stuff that we're not we could never amount to, I guess you can say. But can we just stop at the NFC East and not talk about all the rest of them? Because we know it's gonna be between them. Will become the Eagles, Cowboys, Washington, whatever. But with the Giants though, we were very bullish about our boy Jalen Hyatt. So you don't think he can be something? You know what I mean?
I think he can, but he got drafted to the team that already has a million slot receivers, and he operates best out of the slot. That's
Right.
kind of a weird fit.
I got you. And with Darren Waller and all that, I maybe didn't Saquon. I was just thinking they could put up a fight. I think they can, sneak in as I guess the 6th seed or something like that. But for me though, it's really just the Eagles. Cowboys are going to Cowboys. How I look at it, how they always say, I just don't trust them. Dak definitely don't trust. Team wise, they're I guess they were the number one turnover team for the past 2 years in a row, something like that. Because it's just just getting turnover plus worthy plays. So their defense is going to keep them in there, and obviously adding Stephon Gilmore plays a huge role in that across from Diggs. Yeah, man. For me, it's just those two right there, and probably going to end up in the NFC Championship game. I can give a damn about what happens between anything else in that conference, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would go. I think I'm just gonna be contrarian for the rest of the podcast. I'm gonna go Cowboys number 1. I think that the 2 moves of Gilmore and Cooks is gonna put them a little bit over the top. Now I'm really hesitant to say the Eagles are gonna regress just because how freakish both sides of the front of their team is with having Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. It's certainly a hedge a bet, but I would go Cowboys 1, Eagles 2, Commanders 3. I think all 3 of those teams make the playoffs. Just for the sake of saying that Sam Howell will be playing football in January this season. And then Giants number 4, like the points we've all made. I think that coaching can only take you so far. You do need talented football players.
I think Dallas might end up with the best defense in the league because they have a lot of talent at premium positions. So let's go to the NFC North, perhaps the worst division in the league. If not, it's going to be the South, which is up next. But I'm going to be contrarian with this and go Green Bay first. And they're actually they have the 4th best odds to win the division, according to Vegas Sportsbooks right now. I am buying into a little bit of the Ewing theory with Aaron Rodgers with Green Bay. I still think they maintain a strong offensive line, and on paper, they're the best defense still with a healthy Jair Alexander. And so I'm taking Green Bay first, Chicago second. I think they're starting to put together a decent defense and added some playmakers on offense. Minnesota third. The Cousins Jefferson combination is almost all they have at this point. And I'm going Detroit fourth. And I think they're maybe the most overhyped team in the NFL this year. And I think, and we'll also get to this at the next division, but I think the teams that drafted running backs in the first round will be punished this year.
I think for me, I'm going to go Chicago. It's just I feel that it's almost speaks volumes of how we've handled business the wrong way. And the Chicago is like, we're not going to copy the same blueprint as this team. So what we're going to do is surround our guy under a rookie deal with the most talent that we can give him. So I feel like obviously Justin Field can take the next level, in my opinion. And I think he will. Like, he will do that. And so I feel like I got them at number one solidly for that opinion. And I think Tremaine Edmonds did go there, right? Middle linebacker. They overpaid, obviously, but I feel that it was almost like a much needed for what they were having problems with when it came to the run game up the middle. Defense wise, they're gonna be stout. Always Chicago has always had like a good sticky defense, I should say. Two, I'm gonna go with I hate to say I'll probably go with the Lions. I just feel like the Lions are in a weird like the situation where they're a good team. Quarterback is decent. It's decent enough to win your games. But the problem is when they get like to that wild card game, that's when shit goes wrong. My bad. Can we cross on here? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Shit's gonna go left. I just don't trust Jared Goff. Right when he has Michael Parsons staring at him, people forget how like unclutch he was when pressure was in his face. He was like the worst quarterback with pressure. If I remember with PFF or whatever. So with that being said, I have them there, but I see that happening. Green Bay is so weird to me because Green Bay could easily flop and take two, Voz, just off your point. But I just want to see. I got to see what Love does. What Love can give me, because Love sucks, ain't that right, Voz?
Hey, until you find the right Love, then it's a beautiful thing, and then you're winning the NFC, and then you're winning the NFC North. You know,
right, man. You're coming from behind and sticking it to him, right? But anyway, with that being said, I got to see what he does. He does have talent, running game with Aaron Jones and Dylan, and then got I call him the Raz God himself and Christian Watson. Like dude, just off the charts, fast as crap. And then defense is. I understand a lot of people left that defense, but it's still going to be good enough to get by. Hopefully, get a couple turnovers. Obviously, with you said with Jair Alexander and all that. So I got them at 3, and then at 4. Do I need to say it? Vikings. I just don't trust it. I think it became a very popular team. Everybody seemed like it was very chemistry based. Everybody they're having dances on the plane on the fly back. And then all of a sudden they fold in the playoffs or whatever. And then next thing you know, everybody wants out of that team, off that team. So I'm just. And Kirk Cousins he's in the realm of Jared Goff, in my opinion. It's just, it's not going to get you over the hump, but it'll just give enough to get you there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. To answer Engraven's question, I'm sipping water. I'm a child of God, and I will never sip anything else besides water.
All right.
Yeah, to give out my
also known as Johnny Walker Blue.
To give out my predictions, I'll go Green Bay number 1. I'm feeling the love. Love is in the air tonight. You've lost that love and feeling. I'm running out of songs here that involve the word love. But I'm feeling good about them. I think, like Vosh said, they have a good defense, and I think they have just enough weaponry to get by um, in that division. Number two, I wasn't a fan of their offseason, but I still think, considering what they did last year, I would go with Detroit. I think they'd probably go 9-8, 8-9, somewhere around there. Um, how many slot wide receivers and slot corners can you add? They certainly put that theory to the test, and then they dunked down on it with drafting a running back and linebacker within the top 18. That decision will burn them without a doubt. No doubt in my mind that decision will burn a hole through them for the next 3 years, because that's pretty high draft capital for a team that's probably not going to be picking around there for a while. They'll probably be in like the low 20s range. So
Yuri,
thought that was a mistake.
Yuri, you don't think that's a good gamble by them?
No, I think that's a terrible gamble. I think drafting a running back when there's good running backs every year, and drafting a Mike linebacker who isn't even like, everyone's like, oh, he's Luke Kuechly. No, he's not. He's stiff. He's very stiff from sideline to sideline. It's not even like he's like Leighton Vander Esch. He's not Luke Kuechly. I think that was a bad idea, and I think they got every slot corner safety out there. They got Cam Sutton and they got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I hated their offseason. I really did. I think what they did was stupid, but everyone wants to hype them up. No problem. I think the right step for them was to draft a quarterback and trade up to 3 to hop the Colts for Anthony Richardson. I think that would have been the right step for them. But number 3, I'm gonna go with the Bears. I think that the front sevens for both sides is not quite there yet. I think that's very important in the quarterback's development, is having good offensive line around him. Don't have him bail pockets, and I feel like Justin Fields is getting a little too much hype right now. And I'm glad if he proves me wrong, but I just feel like the processing wasn't really there in college, and his ability to make deep throws and make plays off script and scramble, I think it's a little bit overrated. So I'm not buying into it yet. And then, like you guys said, the Vikings, I just feel like that team's aged out, and it's I think Kirk Cousins is probably going to be like the first quarterback trade we've seen in a while midseason to the San Francisco 49ers.
Good thoughts all around. I just don't trust Goff. I never have. If Sean McVay, moved on from him, I am too. But anyway, let's go on to the South. I have the Saints number 1. The predictions of doom for the last 8 years have been wildly overstated. 10 years. Yeah. I think they have a good team. I mean, not like they might not make the playoffs in the AFC, but in the NFC, they could get a home field game. I think pretty easily. Good defense, good offensive line, a couple playmakers. I think they have what it takes. I'm going to take Carolina too. A little bit of a outlier contrarian pick. I like what they have on defense. I think their offensive line is pretty sturdy, and the competition they're facing in this division isn't too tremendously difficult. Tampa Bay 3rd. Obviously, the Brady moved on, but they still have a lot of the pieces of that championship team from a couple years back still coming back, and they're not necessarily old guys. I mean, they have a pretty young secondary. They have a good offensive line. They have 2 good receivers that are still pretty much in their prime, and some difference makers up front. And I think they're being slept on a little bit. So that leaves Atlanta 4th, which probably upsets some people that like drafting running backs in the first round. But I think that when you draft running backs in the first round with an early pick, you actually maybe they're playing a long game, Yuri. Maybe the idea is you draft a running back and then you get an early pick next year too, and then you can because they're not going to make a difference on how many games you win. So that's how I have it, and I actually have Carolina getting a wild card berth under this scenario.
Yeah, for me, I think this is almost like trying to give what disease you want to catch first before you catch the worst, basically when it comes to the NFC South, right? You know all about that, right? Anyway,
I don't know anything. I don't know anything.
You don't know nothing. All right, cool. Right. But obviously, I think I'm with Vibes when it comes to Saints. If we really think about it, it really just comes down who has like the most savvy quarterback, I should say, with Carr. I trust Carr more than I trust Riddler, Baker Mayfield, and then obviously, Bryce is gonna be good, but I wouldn't choose him over Carr just yet until I see something that makes me like, okay, over. So I go with the Saints one for now. Carolina, two, obviously their defense is like they got good depth at corner. I don't understand how that gets overlooked with J.C. Horn. I understand people might not be high on Jackson, Speedy Jackson, whatever his name is. And then also they traded for C.J. Henderson, I think, a year back. So they got a nice little rotation. Jeremy Chin at safety, Shaq Thomas. Their defense is loaded like across the board. Hopefully DJ Chark is can stay healthy, but Thielen's there. Is DJ Chark done or is he like recovering?
I think he's out for a little bit.
He's out for a little bit.
But they got.
But yeah, their receiver core is not. What's up? Mingo. Yeah. That's my dark horse receiver for the long term. I think he's going to be highly successful. Guy that I wish that we had, obviously if Zay Flowers didn't, came to light, I felt like we could have been able to get him on the back end of the draft or something like that. But anyway, yeah. So Panthers number 2, and then obviously from there, I don't really want Atlanta's last. There's no point even talking about it. I'm going to skip the third because there's no point, man. I'm sorry. There's no point. Because Tampa Bay, I feel like I just don't trust Baker. Baker is going to either it's a coin toss, man. It's like Forrest Gump, box of chocolate. I just don't know what I'm going to get from Baker, man. He's going to get either a good, QB management game or watch what I do, hold my beer while I throw you an interception type shit. I just don't trust Baker at all, man. He's been like that his whole career.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Saints number 1. I think they have, according to I forget what website it was. It was so I saw it on Twitter. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL and the easiest division. I feel like that's pretty good, making that in a weak conference. 12 wins probably. That's kind of where I have them at. And then number 2, I'm gonna go with Atlanta. I know you guys are against Atlanta, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that when you really think about it, their offensive line's top 10. Their defensive line: Grady Jarrett, Calais, Arnold Ebiketie, not the worst. And then you have AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates.
Kuda.
Who? Oh yeah, Kuda. I'm trying to think of that safety they got that they kind of it was in the 2022 draft. They got a safety. I can't think of it anyway.
Richie out of UCF. The guy at UCF.
Yeah.
Richie something or other.
Richie Grant.
Richie Grant. There we go.
And then what about that other corner, the slot corner they got this year, right?
Yeah, wasn't it Fabian Moreau, or is that someone else?
No. Okay, I can't think of his name. But anyway, I'm sorry for interrupting your thought, but I know they got
Clark Phillips. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And then they have Kyle Pitts, Drake London. I'm not a believer in Ritter, but I think that the run game will give them a nice floor and probably go 8-9 or 7-10. And then number 3, I'm going to go with Carolina. I think they have a good defense, like Garnett said, but I think the offense is going to have some growing pains. And I like Mingo a lot. He was someone I wanted for the Ravens. I think he had a red star, in my opinion, as a Raven. And maybe in an alternate scenario where the Ravens trade back a couple times, he ends up here. And then last, Tampa. There's a new saying in Tampa. Lose on Sunday for Drake May. That's the new saying. So
I'm just telling you, watch out. Watch out for Tampa. That's going to be a trap game for a lot of teams. I think they still have a lot of talent. Let's move on to this last division here before we conclude with our futures picks. NFC West. I'm taking Seattle first. I like what they did last year. I like the positions where they have amassed talent: offensive tackle, wide receiver, cornerback. Um, honestly, I don't trust San Fran as much as I used to. They essentially have one good offensive lineman. They're running out Mr. Irrelevant as a quarterback. Of course, they have four tremendous playmakers with McCaffrey, Ayuk, Debo, and Kittle. But their defense, their secondary has been suspect for years, and they've been able to paper over that with a really good pass rush up front. Bosa, there's some contract issues, so I'm not. I think San Fran is. I don't think San Fran is in that top tier in the NFC. I think it's strictly Dallas and Philly. I don't think. I think San Fran and Seattle. So anyway, I'm taking Seattle there, Rams third, and the Cardinals, who are intentionally tanking, which before the season even starts, we haven't seen that in a while. Obviously, they're fourth.
Right. I think I'm very similar to you. It's just for the San Fran though, like I feel like I have to almost put that in number one, but I don't want to because it's out of respect for Kyle Shanahan because I just feel like I don't care what anybody says. You can call me a hater all you want, but I do not like Brock Purdy. I just feel like we seen like where he made Blake Mullen, I think that's his name, or something Mullins, or whatever, a while
Nick
back.
Mullins.
Yeah, where all of a sudden, oh my God, he's the next coming of Brett Favre or whatever. Because it's just the fact that literally Kyle Shanahan can draw up a scheme where a quarterback is throwing to a receiver that has like clearance of a 5-yard radius around them all the time. And I just don't. I respect Kyle, but it's just the fact that I just feel like the quarterback is going to become an issue to me. Like I've not seen one pass where Brock Purdy wowed me. Like, oh my God, this was a hell of a throw. He threw a 60-yard bum on a rope or nothing. It's just, hey, scheme, throw it 20 yards, boom, receiver does the rest. You know what I mean? Is what it is. But for me, I think, you know what, more I talk about it, hell, I'll put Seattle at 1. Thank you, Boz, for giving me that clarification. Thank you, bro. All right, so yes, 49ers 2. Obviously, when it goes after that, what 3 and 4 would be obviously Arizona. For the 3 with the Rams, this is going to be very interesting to me because the fact that they had over like 20 plus, like draft and free agents on the team, correct? Or something like that, UDFAs?
Yeah.
They had like 30 UDFAs, I think.
30, which is insane.
Yeah.
I was team captain F those picks. Yeah, hopefully F those picks. We're going, UDFA route, baby. Let's go. But yeah, man, that's where I'm at. Seattle 1. I go with the Vols with that.
Yeah, I'm not ready to give up on San Fran just yet. I think there's a very strong possibility that Sam Darnold is probably the starter by week 5, week 6. And he shows. My big prediction for the season. I know we're future bets. I guess this would be technically a future bet. I think someone pays Sam Darnold $30 million in the offseason per year. I think that somehow it happens. I feel like Shanahan's going to convince somebody, or maybe they convince themselves that he's going to get paid, and he's a good quarterback at this point. And they revived them and fixed them. With how easy it is to play in that system, I think it's a good chance. So I'm still going to go San Fran number 1. I'm going to go Seattle number 2. The Rams number 3. I think the Rams like that roster isn't good, but for some reason I feel like they just get this weird like 8-9, 9-8 record. Like just somehow like with all the, like you guys said, the 30 UDFAs, I feel like they just get some ridiculously like overperform record. And then Cardinals last. I'm sure they're it's going to look really different for them in a year's time.
Yeah, the news today was Cooper Kupp apparently tweaked his hammy, so his availability for week one's in doubt.
They got
Pretty
DeMarcus
much-
Robinson, the jack of all
Yeah.
trades.
That's it. Jack of all trades. Let's move on to our final segment here. We're going to do a few futures bets that we like. And I want Yuri, can you kick us off here? I think who are you looking at? What do you recommend people put their mortgage payments on?
The mortgage payments. All right. Well, I guess bet number one would be the Saints winning the NFC South. I feel like it's easy money, and I don't know if they are the favorite right now. I'd have to look at it. They are?
Yeah, they're the favorite. They're like minus 120. They're not like big favorites, but they are favorites.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You put your mortgage on that, no problem. And then I would go with whatever Washington's over is on wins. I think they're probably like 6.5.
Oh my god!
So how many wins you thinking?
I'm thinking 9 at least.
Because you can adjust it. Because I adjusted some of mine to make the odds better.
Okay, well, yeah,
you can make the win total whatever you want on DraftKings.
I would go with at least 8. I would go at least 8 or 9. I feel like taking the over on the wins there, Washington. I feel like that's my lock. Going through here, Bills. I think Bills are 10.5. If I'm not mistaken, we already did that before. That the Bills are 10.5 wins.
10.5, 11, yeah.
Under on that. I just don't. I don't see it. I think their pass offense is a little overrated. And we all had them third finishing on the division. So other than that, trying to sort through here. I think the Browns. What are the Browns win total? Do you remember that? Was it 8.5 or 9.5?
I'm not a betting man, but I pretty think I'm not sure. Maybe a 9.5. You don't think that?
Boss?
I'll pull it up, fellas. Bear with me a second.
No, yeah, take your time, because while Voss is doing that, so when it comes to the Browns, what do you think would be the deciding factor other than Deshaun Watson, getting them over like that 9.5 wins, or to that 9.5?
There's a lot. I don't think I have one. I mean, like the fact they have a top 5 offensive line, the fact that they had Zadarius Smith next to Myles Garrett, the fact that they have Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome and Delpit's still there, right? Yeah,
Delpit's still there.
Okay.
Cleveland is 9.5.
Yeah.
Juice to the under. Juice to the under.
Yeah, mortgage payment on the over. Like I said, I think the roster really is stacked, and I think it'd be tough sledding there. And I guess my last futures bet would be, I hate to go against our guy, but I'm gonna go with Quentin Johnson, offensive rookie of the year. I feel like it's got to shoot from the hip a little bit.
I like it. I think G, what should we bet our yacht mortgage payment on?
Easiest bet that you can make: comeback player of the year, DeMar Hamlin. That's my bet. Easiest money. Easiest. Put your house, your kids' college tuition on there, right there. Am I wrong for that?
I have somebody else for comeback player of the year, but anything else before he actually plays for the Ravens. And he didn't play at all last year. And he is plus 450 to
what?
Yeah, OBJ. I like OBJ. He's got a lot of name recognition, and if he makes a lot of splash plays and turns what the national media thought was a run-heavy offense into explosive passing offense, I could definitely see him learning that. But Hamlin is the favorite for comeback player of the year.
I mean, it's a drop dead pick,
Jeez.
I'm just saying. I'm done. But I'm just saying. I'm glad that you brought up Odell. I'm not gonna say who, but I could have made an easy $1,000 bet with somebody that Odell is going to eclipse over 450 yards. I'm not
Easy.
saying who said that, but somebody was very adamant that he's not going to get over 450 yards at the time.
I would definitely take that bet. Tell them to give me a call. I won't even charge them 10%. All right, I'm sorry, Jay. You have any other bets you want to put out there?
No, we're good.
Gambling aficionado. So I got several bets here. Detroit Lions, I believe their win total is 8.5 or 9. If you move it down to 7.5 and take the under, it's plus 260. So you bet $100, you win 260. I like that bet. I also like doing the same thing with Atlanta, but moving them down. I think they were at 8, and if you move them down to 6.5, they only won. I believe they won 7 games last year. So one less win, and you're plus 310. So I like those two as far as win totals. Division winners, I like Seattle to win the NFC West plus 230. I like Green Bay to win the NFC North at plus 400. I like OBJ to win the Comeback Player of the Year at plus 450, as I mentioned. I like Tua Tagovailoa for most passing yards plus 2,200, 2,200. I think that's a pretty good bet. If you can stay healthy, I mean, they got some firepower there. And to say the best for last, you can bet what is going to be the Super Bowl matchup. Okay. And I actually did this last year. I should have done it before the season started. I think I waited until about week 6 and hit a nice bet that it was going to be KC Philly. Yuri and I had a bet on that too, but this other bet paid better. Anyway, I'm actually going for a 2 for here. I'm going to hedge a little bit. So bear with me. The Philadelphia Eagles against the Baltimore Ravens to be the Super Bowl matchup is plus 4,000. So you bet $100. If that's the matchup, you win $4,000. And to hedge, Baltimore Ravens versus Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl matchup plus 8,000. Tell me a better way to invest $200 in that, because honestly, I think you do the combination of the two, and then we can start making some moves here. But I do think that the NFC will definitely be represented by one of those two NFC East teams, and I do like the Ravens' chances of knocking the Chiefs off that pedestal.
Yeah, real quick, Garnett, real quick.
Go ahead.
The Cowboys and Ravens, that's my future Super Bowl bet. I had to put it out, make sure I put it out there. I put out a prediction the other day on the timeline. I really think that's going to be the 2 at the end. I think I guess if you wanted to parlay it with a winner, I don't know if you think you do that, but go Garnett.
No, I'm right there with you, Buzz, on that. Like I said, if I was a extreme betting man, I'll probably go with those two as well. Eagles, I feel like they're gonna go back. It's just everything the way they lost is enough for them to have enough motivation to get back to the top. And the Cowboys is just really just all rise on Dak, man. We all like we said earlier, the defense is gonna do their part. The running game is going to be existing when it needs to be. Yeah, those hips don't lie, but that arm will, though. I tell you what, buddy. Jesus Christ, man. Like he says he's going to throw. Yeah, he says he's going to throw like the least amount of picks this year. I forgot the number he said, but hold him to it, man. But yeah, that's a good lines. I'll tell you there, boss. Good lines, man.
If Sirianni was Dallas's head coach instead of McCarthy, I'd take Dallas pretty easily, but. And then Philly lost their 2 coordinators too, so it's kind of a toss-up. But I really do think those 2 teams are clear head and shoulders above the rest of the conference.
Definitely. I guess my last bet would be Justin Herbert for MVP. That's my last bet.
Okay.
Ride the lightning.
Yeah. So for defensive rookie of the year, who y'all go with?
Will Anderson. I feel like that's
for defensive. Just to put some numbers to it, Herbert is plus 1,200 to win MVP. He's got the the fifth best odds. Lamar's plus 15, seventh best. So it goes Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Hurts, Herbert, Lawrence, Lamar, A-Rod. Those are the 8 guys above 2,000. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Will Anderson's plus 400. Jalen Carter's plus 700. Probably one of those two, unless Gonzalez or Witherspoon pulls in 8 picks, something like that.
Okay, I was just wondering. 'Cause I know like it was the draft pool when these guys came out it was a good class. Don't get me wrong, but like there was no like, okay, this guy is going to take over. Like Will Anderson, to me, it's like just a well balanced, edge rusher, I should say. Like you don't really see like I guess that one year he had Alabama was good, but I just don't see it, man. That's just me. Like I just don't buy into it. Yeah.
Boss.
Yeah, I mean that's all I got. I pretty much gave him out. Let's see, John Harbaugh, just for posterity. John Harbaugh to win Coach of the Year is plus 3,000. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's the 18th most likely coach to win Coach of the Year, according to DraftKings odds. That's not a bad bet, to be honest.
What about Assistant of the Year? What's Monken at?
I don't know if they have Assistant of the. I don't see Assistant of the Year on here.
What about Tomlin?
He's Tomlin for Coach of the Year is. Let me see here. Tomlin is he's plus 2,000, so he's 8th. So it's twice as likely, he's plus 2,000. Harbaugh's plus 3,000. So, I mean, a lot of it's like you have to exceed. Andy Reid is second worst at plus 5,000 because there's not. You kind of have to take a downtrodden team and make them into something, or take a semi-contender and make them a beast really to win it. So, but yeah. Anyway, I'm excited for the season, guys. I'm excited for Florida State to put the stomp down on LSU to start off their national championship quest. 6 best odds to win the Natty, by the way. That's not too bad. 6 best. When's the last time Miami won the Natty? But when's the last time the Tar Heels? Have the Tar Heels ever won a Natty?
I think they did in like the 80s or 70s.
I got to think about it, Vaz. Let me just think. I might have to go wide left to think about this a little bit.
Football season's here, guys. This is awesome. I really enjoyed this episode. Really, this was great. Can't wait.
Hey, look, all you're gonna know is that Saturday, North Carolina is gonna prove that it's a better Carolina over South Carolina. North Carolina's a better one. Okay, that's all you need to know.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with it. I like Ty Chandler, late round sleeper.
You know the craziest thing, the fact that we're all like bros, man. The fact that all of our teams in the ACC, which is the craziest thing. What I just thought about.
Not for long. Your 2 teams are going to be in the ACC, but our team's going to get paid pretty soon. My team's going to get paid pretty soon.
Hey, hopefully, man. Hopefully, y'all don't go nowhere, man. Crystal ball, man. I just don't. I mean, I know we're supposed to be a Raven podcast, basically, but crystal ball, man. He's cool, but I just don't see the light. You can somewhat see like a shiner. I just don't see it at all, man. The draft classes that he's bringing in, it's okay, but it's not what I thought it would be. With the name of his.
I mean, and that's what he's known for. He's not an Exodus coach; he's a recruiter. But anyway, let's not go down that too far.
Right.
And I see Yuri's wearing his nice Tar Heel blue. Just repping. All your shirts that color, or just the ones you wear on the podcast?
All 5 of my shirts are that color.
All 5.
So yeah, you guys got any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm.
My whole final thoughts is, man. We all know it's gonna happen. I hate to be like I said in the group chat. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but we know the secondary is gonna hit a wall. I just want us to hit that mother sucker sooner than later. That's the whole point. It happens every year to the secondary when we just miscommunication or injury here or there, broken hand or something. Just let it happen now. So when down the stretch, we're good, because I think that's what really is going to put us over the top at the end.
Yeah, I mean, let's get Marlo back. Before they put Pepe on IR, they were literally 3 deep at all 3 cornerback positions. So strength in numbers, strength in honor.
Definitely. All right, fellas. As we get out of here, let's have a moment of silence for Caillou Ask Kelly.
Kaka Kelly.
Hands together.
Kaka Kelly.
All right, fellas. Appreciate everyone for joining. Graven. See you guys.